What is up, you guys? Welcome back, or welcome to my channel. I have seriously missed uploading on YouTube. It's been a hot minute. I've been posting shorts, but I am ready to do a long dedicated video because I have a product that I am truly excited about. In today's video, I'm going to be covering the new Pretty Grunge eyeshadow palette from Huda Beauty. This is her newest launch. It's officially launching on November 1st. I have seen a couple people post that they found it in store at Sephora already. I have already swatched this for my Instagram. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I really love to play around with swatches over there. And I did my first eyeshadow look with this palette on TikTok, so if you want to see a different look after this video, be sure to check out my TikTok. We tried like a smoky, glittery wing over there. Here is what the inside of the palette is looking like. This is an 18 pan eyeshadow palette. It's got mattes, it has multi-chrome foils, and it also does have a black gloss in here. I did mention this on TikTok, but I personally don't know much about the grunge aesthetic, so if you do know about it, let me know. Do you think this fits the aesthetic? Drop in the comments below and let me know. What do you think grunge makeup is? I've looked it up on Pinterest, I've looked up some inspo, I have my own look that I'm inspired by for today's video, but I do want to know what you guys think. Because I have swatched it already, I do kind of know my feelings on the formulas in here, a little bit at least, and I would say it's completely on par with what I'm used to from Huda Beauty. I'm going to insert these swatches I took for Instagram right here. I am going to live swatch this for you guys as well, but everything was super consistent with my first time swatching this. The mattes were consistent, the shimmers were consistent, and there were some really poppin', foils in here, and the gloss was pigmented and shiny. I don't know what else you'd want from a gloss. I'm afraid that that would crease on my type of eyelid. Like, I kind of have some folds in my eyelid, and I just don't know if that would be for me personally, but it's in there if you're into it. For my makeup look today, the eyeshadow look I'm going for, I kind of am inspired by a recent look by Patrick Ta on Sydney Sweeney, and this look is kind of what my mind goes to when I think of like grunge glam makeup. It's kind of like a lighter smoky eye around like the crease area, and then it's dark around the lash line and like nice dark and smoky around the lash line, and that's something I have not really played with, I don't think, ever. So I'm gonna attempt to recreate this look today in this video, which doesn't really involve a lot of shimmer. I might use a little bit like on the lower lash line, but if you want to see me use one of the shimmers, like I said, check out the TikTok where I use this for the first time, and I'm definitely going to be doing more looks with this palette. I want to quickly mention as well that I kind of visualize this palette as two 9-pan palettes, this side of the palette being a little bit more neutral and kind of browny, and then this side being more purpley and smoky. I don't know why, it's just the way that my eyes look at this palette, but I do like to dip into both sides, so we're probably going to use both sides today. For the sake of YouTube, I am not going to say the name of this shade, but this is a light transition shade. It starts with Hero, and we're just going to put this all over the crease as a nice transition. This kind of matches my skin tone, so it's a perfect transition shade for me. This look that I'm doing could also be achieved obviously with the Patrick Ta palette, because that is, I'm sure, what he used on Sydney, but I am going to try to do it with this palette. This is definitely more of like a rounded eye look, so I don't want to go too far out to the sides of my eyes with my crease color. So I'm gonna go in, let me see which color I want to use. I'm gonna go into one of my favorite kind of smoky transitions in the palette. This is Love Anarchy, and I'm taking this really tiny blending brush. This is the Detailed Diffused Crease from Sigma, and this is what we're going to start kind of carving out the crease with. And this is really reminiscent of like 2016 baddie makeup. Like, I remember doing this exact style of, not cut crease, but like kind of cut crease back in the day. This shade is literally perfect for this kind of look. And I think that if you have hazel or green or brown eyes, the kind of purpley cool tones in this palette are gonna make your eyes pop like crazy. That's the first thing I noticed when I did apply this palette for the first time, is that you're gonna see my eye color just really pop off once we get into this. Really focusing this crease work above the eye and not worrying about winging it out. Kind of like shoving it into the socket of the eye. Like I'm kind of pushing kind of hard. So I don't know if any of you guys are like this, but for me, I almost have to go overboard with my makeup if I want it to look dramatic at all, because for some reason I can just wear the most like dramatic makeup ever and it still looks like a natural makeup look. It makes no sense. I guess if you know, you know. But I do have to kind of go a little deeper and a little more intense than I would say some people have to. I'm going to take the shade Nirvana on the tip of an E27 brush and I'm going to start working on this lash line. I'm going to start really close to the lashes in the outer corner and I'm just going to push this onto the lid. This could so quickly go overboard, so I really want to just focus and pack the product where I want it without worrying about blending just yet. The vibe of my look today is definitely going to be more purpley than the Patrick Ta because, you know, if I'm guessing correctly, he just used the all neutral palette. This one is not fully neutral. It definitely has purpley tones to it, so I think it's gonna work in my favor. It's gonna be really good with my eye color, but it's just not an exact duplicate. Again, really focusing on staying within the lash line and not winging it out too far. I have a natural inclination to wing out my smoky looks, but I really want my eye to just stay completely rounded for this look. Once that's kind of on there, I will start to blend it up just a little bit with nothing extra on the brush, just going back and forth and taking any excess and kind of bringing it just a little bit further into the eye. Then I'm going back in with the same diffused crease brush and picking up Love Anarchy again from earlier. I'm gonna tap off the excess and I'm gonna connect the outer portion of that smoky section to the outer part of my crease. Kind of laying the side of the brush into the socket again and letting the brush do a lot of the work for me. Really, really carefully, I'm gonna go back in with the brush we picked up Nirvana with and pick up a little bit more because, like I said, it takes a lot more for things to show up on me, and I'm just going to start gently placing this in the socket area of my outer crease. Keeping it all in the socket so it doesn't get winged out. Switching back to diffused crease, this time picking up the Nirvana shade, tapping off the excess. I want to take this just a little further along the lash line, ever so slightly, because I don't want the inner corner to be dark, but I just want it to be nice and smoked. I'm picking up a nice flat brush. This is from ColourPop, it's the E4, and I'm going to pick up that H shade again. This is the one that we started the whole look with, but I really want that like flat curve of this brush because I'm gonna kind of cut the crease where I could use a little bit more blending. I'm not really cutting the crease because I'm not using concealer, but I'm just gonna place this where I want the edge to be, just to kind of emphasize that round shape. And that's not gonna be that intense. I am gonna blend that away, but let me match it on the other eye. I feel like this eye just looks better, so I'm trying to get both of them to kind of match. I don't want it to be that clean, so I'm just gonna take that blending brush from earlier and get rid of any excess shadow. One final blend, and then I am gonna stop with the top of the eye before I end up going overboard and, you know, ruining it. So not the perfect blend, but overall, like kind of the shape I was going for. A lot of this look is gonna come from the lower lash line, so we don't have to worry so much about the top, but it's looking okay. It's just not perfect. Okay, for this look, I am gonna go into the tight line and the lower waterline. This is something I have not done in literally years, and I do wear contacts. They might get irritated, I don't know, because I haven't done it in so long, but I'm gonna try the Creamy Coal from Huda Beauty in the shade Very Vanta Extreme Black, and really hope that it doesn't transfer onto my contacts, because then I'm really not gonna be able to see the camera at all. I already got it on my eyeball. We're gonna do the waterline too, so we're really hoping for the best over here. They went all the way in, like the tear duct and everything. I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I got like most of my waterline on both sides, and that might have to do for now. It's not transferring, it's just like really weird feeling because I haven't done it in a long time. All right, let's work on this lower lash line. This is where hopefully the look is really gonna transform. So I am gonna start with Nirvana, but then we are gonna go even darker. But I'm gonna take a pencil brush and really just put Nirvana as close to the lash line as I can. And I'm pretty sure we're just gonna do the whole lash line, which is different for me. Normally I stick to the outer portion. We're gonna do the whole thing. This is not a look I would typically go for with my eye shape, so we are stepping out of the comfort zone here, guys. I'm gonna smoke this out a little bit more. You guys, I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just like in my head, but I feel like I look like that dog that came out of the birth canal wrong on TikTok.
Hey Belle, do you remember life as a puppy? Do you? Belle, you were adorable.
I love that dog. I think she's a sweet angel, but it's giving came out of the birth canal wrong. It's time to go even darker. So we're gonna go in with Renegade. We desperately need to find balance here, so we're gonna go even lower with this black shade, but we're gonna keep this to the outer portion of the eye. Oh, thank God. Okay, we needed that because I don't know what was happening. There was too much black shadow or dark shadow on the inner corner and it was making my eyes look so weird. I need to buff with a foundation brush because I went too low. All right, guys, I'm sweating because this is so beyond out of my comfort zone. But the more I look at it in person, I don't think it looks that bad. I just think that, like, you really can mess with the shape of an eye when you do dark colors like this, and we went all sorts of crazy shapes. It has a similar silhouette to what I was going for, but it just has a different effect on me. So I'm really hoping the lashes and mascara combo can really come in clutch here, and then we might have to play around with a little bit more eyeliner. So let me get the lashes on and the mascara on and come back. We're gonna revisit this situation. Okay, I'm back. Lashes honestly save the day almost every single time I think a look is going nowhere. The lashes come in and they change the look. Now, is this something that I'm used to? Absolutely not. I rarely do looks like this, but I feel like it's giving alter ego. I like it. I think I would wear it out. I have the feminine urge to put a glitter eyeshadow topper on this look, but I'm not going to do that. We're gonna keep it as is. I don't know, you guys. You let me know what you think. I think I could probably do a little bit more eyeliner like on the top in here, but I actually have to go out in the wild right now in my makeup after this video, so I think I'm just gonna let it be and not go overboard. So in this collection, she's actually launching a matte black liquid lipstick and a gloss, a black gloss, and the Lip Contour 2.0 is actually my favorite lip pencil on the market, and they now have a black shade. It's called Nocturnal. I was gonna do the black on black, but I feel like I'm kind of like cosplaying in an aesthetic that's not mine. I don't really want to do that right now, but this is actually something that I want to wear with the neutral. I have like a lip oil from Fenty on my lips, and this feels more fitting for me right now. And I already have a full face of makeup on, but she did release, or she is releasing, a pretty grunge face gloss, and this is a blush gloss. And it's in the shade Punk Pink, but this is clear, so I'm assuming that this is a pH changing type of product, like that changes color with your temperature. Not really sure. My hand's cold right now, so it's probably not gonna change color. It looks, actually it is kind of, I think it is changing color. It's very subtle. I think this is cool, but honestly, like the pH changing face products to me just aren't appealing. I don't know. I'm not super into them, but I do think the packaging is really cool, and I like how it says pretty grunge, and it's an interesting product. We'll see if I get my use out of it. Now, I promised you guys swatches, so we are going to get swatching. Hopefully this camera stays in focus. I do use a baby wipe between shades, and then I wipe onto a dry little rag here. First shade is Liberty, and to me this is kind of like almost a warmer toned peachy transition shade. This palette is marketed as being cool toned. I kind of see both, but I am a little colorblind. That is Liberty. Next up is this shade that starts with an H. That's also a little bit peachy. Next is Avant Garde. That is very, very intense. Next is Renegade, the darkest matte in the palette. Next is the shade Brave. This is like a mauvey, purpley color, I guess, in my eyes, in my colorblind eyes. There is Brave. Last up in the top row is Beauty Chaos. This is a lighter purpley color. Really, really pretty. Moving on to the second row, we're gonna swatch Rise Up. This might match my skin tone a little bit, but it is a matte kind of transition brown. There is Rise Up. Next is a shimmer called Stand Up. This is really soft, but really, really pigmented. Wow. That is very metallic, very foiled. Next up, this shade is so, so beautiful. It's a marble shade. I feel bad ruining the marble, but this is Strong AF. I'm gonna try to just press my finger in so that I don't completely ruin the integrity of the marble, but when I swatch it, it's gonna blend. Really pretty mix of colors here. Next up is the shade Nirvana, that deep purple that I used a lot today. There is Nirvana. Next is one of Huda Beauty's really interesting textures. It kind of like looks a little bit like a petri dish, but it's haphazard. Kind of just has a bunch of pearls mixed into one shadow. I kind of like the way it looks in the pan. And this one almost flashes like a red. I really like that. This is why I do my swatches off camera, because it takes so long and my stomach's growling. Last up in the second row is another matte. This is Fearless. This is like a medium tone purple, I think. Very soft and pretty. Starting the bottom row, we have a matte brown called Hope. That would be so pretty for some of my like signature brown smoky eyes. My personal favorite transition shade out of the palette is Love Anarchy. It just has that really nice mid-tone kind of gray brown that I'm looking for with smoky eyes. Love this one. Are you ready for this magical glittery shimmer? Next up is Maverick. I think this is gonna be really beautiful for the holidays. I might still have a little brown on my finger from the previous shade, but you guys can see it. Obsessed. This next shade I did use in my first look on TikTok. This is Rebel, and this is like a flaky, metallic, glittery shimmer, just beautiful shade. My hand is so irritated. I mean, that could probably go on and on, that swatch, but that is so stunning. That's as foiled as you're gonna get in a pressed eyeshadow, in my opinion. Last up before the face gloss, we have Freedom. This is kind of like a lilac. Kind of not. I don't know. It's like a lilac-y gray. That is Freedom. It's kind of hard to see on my skin tone. And last up, the final star of the show that I'm too afraid to use personally is the black eye gloss called Grunge. And I definitely think this is like too slippery to use as like an eyeliner because it is really like glossy, really slippery. There it is. I'm very curious to see if this would crease on eyelids like mine. So that is the Pretty Grunge palette from Huda Beauty. Again, it's going to be $69 US, launching on November 1st. I love this palette. I'm inspired by this palette. I'm looking forward to doing more looks with this palette. I think I need to step back into my comfort zone and try out like a nice brown smoky eye, maybe with some of these shimmers for the holidays. But I'm loving it. I absolutely do think that it's worth it. If you guys want to see palette comparisons, drop the palettes you want me to compare this to down below. I, off the top of my head, can't think of anything in my collection that's super similar to this, but I really don't know. So you guys let me know if you think this resembles anything that you already have or that's out there already. I have had some questions asking if I would recommend this or the new NATASHA DENONA palette. I don't own that one. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick it up yet or not, because in my eyes this one like is a little bit more versatile. I think that one is a little bit more, in my eyes, like black and white, which is not entirely my style. I like to do things that are a little darker and smokier, but not necessarily like the quintessential smoky eye, like gray, black, and like just sticking to those colors. This has a lot more to offer, I think, to someone like me who wants a little bit of everything in a palette. That is it for me, guys. I will link this palette down below. Also, I will link it in YouTube shopping, so somewhere on the screen if you guys want to check it out. Both of those are affiliate options, so I get a small commission if you shop through my links, which you don't have to, but thank you in advance always if you guys choose to shop through my links or use my discount codes. You are supporting me directly. So I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.